Okay, welcome back to the place and livability task. This is part one, so this is actually getting it in. So welcome back with me and
Kai
back.
here.
So we're going to be using Google Earth. We're going to be plotting points and recording data. So let's get started. All right, I guess the first thing I want to make you aware of is, whenever you're doing a task like this, make sure you're reading the notifications that you've been given. Don't just use this video as the rule. Use this as a support, and then go from that. All right, but make sure you're reading the notifications. Know exactly what you need to do. All right, so let's get started. Okay, the first thing that you're gonna have to do, and this is gonna tie in, but I would do this one first. Step one is filling out the compass. So the compass is right up the top here, and you've got to fill it out. And we're wanting you to fill out direction and bearing. And the question really is, what's the difference? Well, so direction, you can see here I've plotted a little N. What does the N stand for, Kai?
North.
Good. So the N is for north. And then if there was an S at the bottom,
it would stand for south.
That is south at the bottom. So I'm sure most of us are aware of the points north, south, east, west. So you're going to have to fill them in. But bearing is what are these points when we put them on a compass and give them a numerical value? So your teacher's going to go through that with you in class, but you're going to have to put that next to it. So you might put the N there, and you might put an N, and then in brackets put what it is, and I'll give you a clue. That one there is 0 degrees, and at the bottom you might do south, and that one there is 180 degrees. But your teacher's going to go through that. Now this is a really important first step. Because that's going to help you when you're looking at direction around the map. Okay, so what we're going to have to do with step two, once you've done that, is you're going to be filling out this whole table. And we've got to find 10 different points and services in our local area, which is the Sutherland Shire. We've got to find their distance from the school. So that means that our point number one is going to be the school. It's going to be Aquinas College. So we're going to find, for distance from the school, that's not really going to count, and direction from the school for the first one's not really going to count. But we are going to find the height of it. We're going to find the area reference, which is a skill that you're going to go through in class, and you're going to need to make a symbol. Now, you'll be able to see when you look at my one that you'll get in class, I just used the symbols from a standard keyboard. So I think I used the $sign, I used that @ sign, I used a hashtag, I think I used a plus sign, I think I used 2 brackets, and I think I might have used a minus. So, yeah, and so on. You're right, Kai. But you come up with some symbols. If you find some nice little stickers that you want to put down here, in these little spots, then that's fine. If you want to use different colours, then that's fine. It's totally up to you. But so let's sort of see. All right, now let's go to Google Earth. Okay, now the first thing, if you've not used Google Earth before, the first thing you're going to have to do here is go and search for it. You're going to have to search for Google Earth on Google. It'll be this top one. You'll need to download it. And once you've downloaded it and accepted all the things, you're going to open it up and you're going to see something like this here. You're going to see the big picture of the Earth, and you're going to see Australia. And this is where we're going to work, but Kai's just going to tell you something quickly about this up here. This is something interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is it?
So that is the thing that you can search up stuff. So it has Google Earth, Google the sky, Google Mars, and Google Moon.
Yeah, spot on. Look, this is an aside. When you come back to it, the Google Sky is going to show you the whole sky, all the constellations and other galaxies. It's fascinating. Google Mars, you can do the same thing. You can look around at Mars, and the same with the Moon. We're not going to go through that now, but it's a little feature of Google Earth that a lot of people aren't aware of. You might find that once you get the hang of Google Earth, you might go back to it. There are a whole lot of other things up the top here, like the path, the ruler, the plotting of pins that we're going to need. So let's get in. All right, what you can do, you can find locations in 2 ways. You can either do sort of what I've done here with the little hand, and if you scroll in and out and click on places, it's going to zoom in. That's one way you can find it. If you know, for example, what Sydney looks like, you know that we're sort of down here, and you might be able to see the Cronulla Beach, and you might sort of see the, maybe see even stuff like the Warrenora River, or you might see the Port Hacking, and have a bit of an idea about where we are.
Yeah.
If you don't know, the other option that you can look for is the search tool, right up in this corner here. You can see here I've searched for Menai. If you just click on Menai, that is going to bring us to exactly where we need to look at. So either way, it's going to be fine. First, once you've found sort of a location, and this one here is our school. You might be able to see that there's Menai there, there's the marketplace, and here's the school. What you're going to do is you're going to click up, and it's up the top here. It's this little symbol here. It's a little pin, and you click on the pin to add a pin, and you can name it here. And I eventually do name this as Aquinas. And here you're going to find the latitude and longitude, and that's really important because you're going to put that on that table that I showed you at the start of the video. You're going to need that latitude and longitude there. Now, in class, your teacher's going to tell you what you need because you can see here that number's really long. You don't need all that detail. You just need, you only need to just go down to the degrees and the minutes. So just the degrees and the minutes. We don't need to go to the seconds and be as accurate as Google Earth is. But it's important that you put a pin in. So for whatever 10 services and 10 locations and features you find, that you put a pin in. And you'll see on my next slide what. All right, so once you've done here, I've not put in 10, but here's Aquinas here. You can see that one I've labelled. Now my recommendation is that you label all of them so you know what they're looking at. But I just put in a few place markers around. And what that means is it means that when you're looking at finding the distance and the direction, it's really easy to look at this and then say, all right, well, that one there, that's southeast, and this one up here is northeast, and this one might be sort of east-southeast, and that one's southwest. So once the markers are on there, that's a really nice way to find direction, which is one of those other things you've got to do. The other one is distance. Once those markers are there, it's really easy to do distance. Okay, one of the next things that we've got to do is find height. Whenever you click on a location somewhere, whether it's here, here, or here with your mouse, if you go right down to the bottom here, you're going to see this number here, this little figure here. It says elevation, or ELEV. It's elevation, and it's going to give you a number. So, for example here, wherever my mouse was, or wherever my little finger here was, there he is, there's my little hand, is 44 metres. That's one of those numbers or one of those bits of data that you're going to put on. So for every time you put a pin down, look at what that pin says, look at the elevation, and that's something you're going to put down there. So in order to find distance, you're going to use the ruler tool. If you click on the little ruler tool, you'll get this box pop up, and if you click on the first pin, which is over here, and drag it over to the second pin, it's going to tell you. So I think this one is from Aquinas to, I think it was to Miranda, and it ends up being about 7.46 kilometres. That's then another feature you put in. So you'll be doing that with all of the different points that you find. All right, here's one of the harder things that I think, is once you've got all your points, how do you plot them on that map? How do you plot them on this map? All right, this is tricky. And my suggestion is use pencil and do it really lightly to start with. But use landmarks that really stand out. Use things like, all right, the Port Hacking. Use things like Botany Bay, the Cronulla Beach. Use things like, Warrenora River and, these bays here. The other thing I'd suggest is if you use a ruler and just put the ruler up on your computer screen, and if you know that, there's a location that lines up with the bottom of this, with the bottom of here, and you put your ruler here, then you know that that location's got to be there. Look, we're not asking you to be, exact to the meter, but you take your time, and I think, you'll find it'll be complicated and tricky to start with, but after your first or second point, you'll get the hang of it. All right, so now we're at the point where, hopefully, you've got your 10 pins and your 10 locations. You've put them all down here. You've written what they are. Aquinas, our school, is going to be number 1. Obviously, you don't have to work out the distance from the school or direction for the school for that. But height we've looked at. Area reference and grid reference, although we've not gone through this on this video, I've got a video on my channel that'll go through that, and your class teacher is going to talk to you about area and grid reference in class, and you're going to have selected a symbol and a key. So, where are we up to? Hopefully by this point you've got 10 points on Google Earth, you will have recorded them, and you're going to have located them on the map. The next video we're going to look at is the sketch map. Alright, hopefully this has helped you out with this section. You know what you're doing, and we'll see you for the next section. Alright, see you later.
Bye.